This is awesome, guys. Thank you so much. This is kind of for everybody, but what attribute that you possess has been your strongest asset in building your companies to this point?
Resilience. That's it. Just don't quit. Ever, 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 ever. Like, don't quit. I'm convinced, and like seriously, I know that's a stupid, like, or not stupid, but it's a simple answer, but like any industry, all the mentors that I have, all the people that I've talked to, they're infinitely smarter than me. All of them just literally never give up. If you study Rockefeller, Abraham Lincoln, these ridiculous leaders, they just suffered so much and just never, ever, ever stopped. So if you can literally just never, ever, 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 ever quit, you will win. That's it.
I'll echo that. 3 weeks ago, or 4, you guys remember that big ice storm that came through? I don't know if you guys got a hit down the south, but you know, we do a lot of installs up north. Like there's like that thick of ice just on the roofs. And for me, I mean, we have 220-ish employees depending on the week. And it's pretty close to, you know, ranging between 300 to 450,000 payroll every single week. So if you don't bring like he said, it's a cash flow business. I was like, amen, brother. If you don't bring the cash flow in, you've got a lot of cash flow going out. And so I ended up taking a $1.5 million loan that week because I was going to have negative $37,000 in our business account after payroll. So I was like, oh God, I hope ADP doesn't bounce payroll on people's paychecks. And that's just the reality of what we're in is it takes so much grit. I mean, just after hearing you guys talk here for just a little bit, I can know one common denominator between, you know, the 5 of you guys is there's probably just a shit ton of grit. And you're like, every single time you look at something, you're like, I'm gonna get through this. I don't know how, but I'm gonna solve it. You know, I'm gonna make my way through this thing. I'm gonna overcome on the other side. And you know, that's one personal attribute I know for myself. That I've had to have I've been in business for 8 years, since I was 23 years old. And I've been through multiple different business types and different products we sold, and everything has always taken grit. The reason why we switched to solar in 2020 is my largest client, Frontier Communications, filed bankruptcy in March of 2020 in the middle of COVID. They cut our pay by 55% in July of 2020 when everybody didn't want you knocking doors and they wanted a mask on. You know, we had a lot of business up in Seattle where it was like ground zero, and then in Portland. And everybody's like, dude, 13 feet, bro, 13 feet. And so, you know, we had massive pay cuts, COVID hitting us like crazy. And all the telecom vendors were like, man, we don't have enough money to keep paying you more money. And so we had to make a big shift. I mean, it was a multi-million dollar thing that we were doing. And I was like, we gotta do something different. And it was just, we're gonna make it through this. I can't be in the telecom space anymore, and I'm gonna grit my teeth. I'm gonna find out something to do. So I decided to go sell solar without financing. So.
It's amazing. And last comment here so we can get to the last 3 or 4 questions.
Yeah, so basically by what you heard from all of these speakers, right? We've been tested so many times throughout our business, it became our testimony, and that's why we're able to share these things with you, right? So know that your test will be your testimony, and whatever you go through, the people around you have probably gone through something similar, right? And I always tell my sales rep, comparison is the enemy, right? You compare yourself to other people, you compare yourself to the people on social media, and you're like, oh, why don't I have that? Well, what did they have to do in order to get there, right? What did we have to do in order to get there? But the thing is because, again, back to what I said, I have enough scars on my back for you guys to learn from, so you guys don't have to go through those things. You guys can learn from it. So just, you know, it's gonna get better, right? It's gonna get better. Just keep going at it, right? Don't allow comparison to be that enemy that affects you and doesn't allow you to fulfill the dreams that you've always wanted.
That's why I don't have Instagram, so I don't have to compare myself.
I know you said that was the last one, but I think one just quick thing is that a lot of times when you're stuck, you're really not stuck, you're just not willing to suffer, right? Like, I sold a house one time to make payroll. Like, imagine that conversation. I went home and like, we're gonna move to this apartment from our 4,000 square foot home, right? Like, it wasn't a good conversation, right? I've sold a car before to make payroll. I mean, like a lot of times from my experience, when people come to me and they say they have a problem, it's not really a problem. They're just not willing to suffer. Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, think about that, and then keep your business first, right? Like, you have to make hard decisions. Like, it was really hard for me to make a couple decisions, this year. Like, I started my company with a lot of my close friends who are now no longer here because the company it's not a good fit for them, right? That was very hard for me, and I made a lot of bad decisions because of that, right? So, the business has to be number one, and it has to be more important than even you.
First of all, thank you guys for sharing, the years of experience you guys have had here. We appreciate it. My name is Bobby Jones. I built a roofing company, and in 2017, GAF launched their solar roofing, which I quickly jumped on. We started doing our solar roof installs in 2018, and they just recently in 2022 launched their nailable solar shingle, which we've been installing quite a bit of. We've had some success with some of our sales reps, but it is an interesting transition taking my roofing salespeople and teaching them how to sell solar without overwhelming the conversation, where we've really built a lot of value on our roof replacements. Now we've added solar to that conversation. Right now, solar is taking the primary part in that conversation. How can I get my salespeople to simplify this process and sell solar roofing?
But before you walk away from the mic, are you saying my roofing reps are selling solar on top of the roof, or are you selling solar shingles?
We're selling solar shingles.
So do you still have a roofing business and you also sell solar, or is it like just solar shingles completely?
Correct. So this is a roofing business that sells solar roofing also.
Okay, so simple answer, right? It's like back to what we said, like not everyone can play that role, right? Sometimes when you're adding another structure to your business, it's always best to train new people to follow through that pipeline. You never want to leave the bloodline of your business, which is primary was roofing, right? And now you're trying to make this dramatic shift over to like, hey, you got to sell this These guys were already good at that, right? Leave them there, and the people who are interested, you don't have to force the masses to go over. Get one or two people, build them up in that section of things. Now you have two streams of income that are both providing cash flow for you. That second operational side, now you're training new people to be successful in that side of things. Now you have data based off of your roofing business of people who don't have solar. You gave them a brand new roof, and guess what? You can go resell them right after. You have to think a few steps ahead, right? I understand the whole switch, but that's my business is ran off of roofing, alarms, and solar, right? But I'm not forcing everyone to do all of it at once, right? It's just like, hey, you're good here, you're good here, you're good here, and then allow them to be good at what they're good at.
I may have a few more very specific tactics for you, because we do all of our roofing and solar internally. So that's a conversation. If you want to find me after, I can help you out. But I'll echo that. If you guys do anything with online business, there's this thing called split testing, right? So you got, what I would do is I would take a couple key people, have them sell roof and solar combos, and don't switch your whole entire force. Because once you can master it and figure it out, and then I'd also ask you how much time you got, because I would say you should go try to do it first and master yourself. Because if you're seeing that struggle and it's not adopting, if it's not coming into your sales force and they're not able to do it, you got to figure out yourself so you can start teaching people, or you hire that person that's really good. But then that comes back to cash flow. Do you have the right? There's always I can't remember that question earlier. It specifically was, is there ever a hurdle you couldn't overcome? Not with the right people, but you got to have the money to hire the right people, because those right people can always help you develop the right process. But it's just split. I would say split test if you don't want to move your whole sales force, because right now your current business can help cash flow you to get into another business. Don't hurt that one. That would be real bad. Don't sell your hotels on Boardwalk just because you want to buy Meridian. All right. So
You really like Monopoly.
I love Monopoly. I don't think I've ever lost a game of Monopoly, so I love it. But
Yeah, and
these guys up here are like, oh yeah, you want to play, bro? I'll sell my houses just so I can win.
The only way you can win Monopoly is you just gotta be the last one that still wants to play. So that's like, but you know, it's a little bit different than your question, but it's kind of right in the same realm. Like everybody, there are companies out there that cross sell and do it very well, right? So I'm not saying it's impossible. I think that a challenge that I constantly see is you have companies that want to cross sell, but when you pay attention to the experience of to the consumer, it's a bad one, right? So like for example in solar, like guys are always like, can I sell an HVAC system for this? Well, no, really you're just trying to finance the HVAC system because that's what they actually want, and the only vehicle that you have to do it is to sell them solar. So you're giving them a shitty experience for HVAC, and you're going to ruin the experience and ruin your reputation. And we're not an HVAC company, so we can't even fulfill it the right way. And you know, it's like the expectations are all wrong, right? So you know, not saying cross sales don't work, but I am saying really pay attention to the experience, because that's what ultimately is going to ruin it, right? You're going to ruin it for your rep too. You end up not having any reps because they're going to say you suck. Well, no, it's not you suck. You just had the wrong plan, right?
Something to add to that, if you're primarily doing roofing, and we have a few partnerships with roofers, is like you can do a collaboration too. You don't have to do it all yourself, but somebody already has experience within the solar side of things, and you can keep on just cash flowing from your original business, and just really think about how much am I willing to invest, right? Am I trying to be like build the solar side of things on a budget, then get a good sales rep and get an operation person, and let's just have him run it and get the right mentorship through the right leadership. Or with the right collaboration and start there? Or am I willing to put all my systems and everything in place, and I have this much money to invest into this division, and then I'm gonna just go all out on it, you know? So that just depends what's your budget and what you're trying to do. But some of the things that could save you a lot of money is just collaborating with somebody that already has those expertise on that side, and I think you'll ramp up faster.
Yeah, at least to launch, at least as you pilot